Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Broadcasting live from beautiful Tallahassee, Florida. So I'm so excited. Of course, you guys probably saw in the live stream that Charlie intends to testify starting tomorrow. So who would have guessed that? I guess some people were guessing. I mean, I was kind of on the fence. I thought, okay, maybe 30% chance he testifies. But after I heard that attorney testify for him, it was kind of like, that can't be his defense. This lawyer didn't really say anything to help his case. So, of course, as some of the attorneys predicted, Charlie basically has to testify if his theory has to do with some sort of extortion. So let me take a look here, see if anybody has any questions, because I did take copious notes during this morning before I got shut out of the courtroom. So I don't know if people really want to hear me going through my notes, especially if you actually saw the live stream. So let's see here. Thank you guys for being here. It's so overwhelming, but in a good way, of course, because we're here with a bunch of other like true crime fanatics. I met some of them in the elevator. Some of them were so excited to see Fancy talking to Joel, Steve, Mentor, True Lifestyles, Katie Cool Lady, we're all here. So it's very exciting, but it's also really exhausting too, because we're meeting for dinner soon. So I gotta save my voice too. It's hard talking nonstop. So yeah, I could not believe it, but it was kind of predicted last night. If you guys saw me on Surviving the Survivor, there was private investigator Monica Jordan who predicted that, yeah, he's probably going to have to testify. So let me get some tea here before I dish the tea. Can you believe this part? Getting Charlie. Yeah, I would say, I mean, today's evidence really makes Donna look so bad. It's pretty appalling. Hey, thanks for being there. Let's see. Oh, okay. Change hers to 7. Yeah, it's such a busy day because everybody wants to have some time to create content for their channels too. So it makes it really hard because we also want to do some socializing, maybe take a break, because she and I both were just talking about how sleepy we are. And there really wasn't much of a lunch break. So during that time, I was talking nonstop, trying to act out a skit or two with Mentor Lawyer. We found an empty room at the courthouse. And it's kind of funny because he actually had not read the script that I had carefully, painstakingly typed up over the weekend and emailed him. So he's been so busy, he didn't even look at it. So I was kind of giving him the rundown. Okay, this is what the skit's about. This is what you got to say. We could shoot it in different little segments so you don't really have to memorize the whole thing. And then he was like, no, but this doesn't fit the defense theory. I'm like, okay. So he told me what he thought the defense theory really was. And he was like, well, maybe we can improvise. So I'll just tell you, in general, what should go on. I'm like, really? Okay. So we'll do 2 skits. And I guess I'm not very good at improv comedy because I guess I was screwing it up and I didn't understand what he thought the defense theory was. So maybe that by itself could be entertaining. But if I have time late tonight, I will do my best to edit that so you guys can be entertained. Okay, try to click here. Need reassurance. Well, he has to give off this attitude that he's still in control. That was what Donna was all about, is, having control. So I don't think he really wants to just leave the day with some hangdog, really sad, pathetic look. But there were some times when I was watching the live stream, even in the courtroom, so I could see how Charlie's face was looking. And there was a moment when, boy, he looked really beat and depressed and justifiably so, when they were waiting for Adelson to show up. So, oh, you saw me? Okay. Yeah, I have to be mindful of how I appear because you never know if the camera's on you. Yeah, it's kind of freaky. Yeah. Someone that knows Wendy since childhood is an attorney, doesn't think they'll get Wendy. I mean, I do feel more depressed about that because of how Katie testified. So basically, it doesn't seem like Katie has dirt on them. So that's just too bad. But maybe the prosecution has other texts and other information that hasn't been revealed. So let's hope for that. But I'm not too optimistic at this point. Yeah. Okay, let me scroll through. Hey, everybody. Yeah, that what is crazy, because I could have sworn that's what they said at the beginning of the trial, was that Rajbaum said they had 2 witnesses. And I thought it was going to be Gary Cohen plus Kristen Adelson, but it looks like Cohen is not here, not going to testify. So it's kind of weird. It's like, wouldn't you know ahead of time if this person is going to be great for your case versus just like mediocre or just kind of useless? So yeah, so who knows why they didn't call Gary Cohen. Let's see. Oh, so, well, they kind of had to, because otherwise the poor jurors would probably have to, be there until like 6 or 6:30 p.m. So I was kind of relieved because, as you can tell, my voice is already going. I feel beat. So is everybody else I'm talking to. Like, we've all been just staying up late, getting up early, just running down to the courthouse. So in a way, it was kind of a relief that we got to leave early. So I'm sure the jurors were also really happy too. Oh, and speaking of the jurors, though, so this is what I don't understand, because first the judge said they were going to have 12 jurors plus 3 alternates. Then, I don't know, I can't remember when. Then later, the judge was talking to the attorneys, saying, well, maybe we'll just have 2 alternate jurors. I guess it would have been too much of a hassle to keep picking another person. So both attorneys seemed to agree with that. But then today, I counted over and over and over again. I was like, there are actually 15 people sitting in the jury box. So is there just one extra person to watch over them who works for the court system? Nah, I think they were all jurors plus alternates. So here's what I wrote in terms of the breakdown. There are 5 Black women, 1 Black man, 7 white men, 2 white women. Okay. And out of the 2 white women, 1 looks like she's probably over 55. And the other white woman looks like she could be in her, say, like 20s, late 20s. Hope I'm not offending people here. Let's see. In regards to the white men, it was like people who appeared to be in their 30s up through, I don't know, 50s perhaps. Somebody was a Cape Cool lady who said somebody said that one of the jurors looked like a young Kenny Rogers. So it's like, okay, it's been a while since I thought about Kenny Rogers, but then I realized, yeah, it's the guy with the glasses. So, okay, 1 Black male, African-American male. He looks like he could be in his late 40s, 50s. The African-American women, it's hard to tell, right? I'm just guessing. It looked like they could have been in their, say, like 40s. I don't know, late 30s, 40s, something like that. So, so that's a good, nice mix. I don't know what Tallahassee really is like here, but I don't think any of them really would identify with Charlie, especially with all that talk about, tennis clinics for the kids and eating at these fancy restaurants and eating lobster and stuff. So, Charlie was laughing at one point on the floor tabs. What was he laughing about? Oh yeah, when Katie was joking with him about, do you ever work? It doesn't seem like you're working much. Then Charlie was just laughing about how he's such a slouch or something, and how he only has to work half the day. I know I wrote that down, but anyway, I'm sure these people of Tallahassee weren't really impressed by Charlie's attitude and his arrogant, pompous, as his friend said, overgrown frat boy type of demeanor. Oh, okay. Let me scroll down here. I just don't know what you guys want me to focus on, but I'll just kind of jump around because there's no real script to this. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Yeah, in a way, it's actually more, to me, it's more satisfying to be outside the courtroom, because when I got back late after the lunch break, because I had to wash out some of the fake blonde temporary hair dye in the bathroom. So that's why my hair is wet, because as soon as I came back, I really wanted to wash out all that blonde hair dye as soon as possible, because I don't want to go to dinner looking like that. So I was late getting back. By then, you couldn't go back into the courtroom because the jury was back out, hearing had started, or the trial started again. So I was in this little room watching on my laptop, and Mentor Lawyer also showed up for a while. So he was stuck out there with me too. And it's actually more fun because you can get a close-up view of the witness's face, and you can see Charlie. So from where I was sitting, I couldn't see Charlie's face at all. And I could barely see some of the jury people, but they were also far away. So it's sometimes more satisfying not being there. So you guys thinking hey, it's great that you get to be in a courtroom. Well, sometimes it's not that great. So plus you can't even make noise. You have to be careful about scooting around. You can't get up and down, stretch your neck, I was feeling really achy. So the whole time it's Charlie has this bogus disability insurance lawsuit still pending in federal court. Come on, he has no back problem. He was sitting there the whole day. Every time I saw him, he was just right there in position, sitting there. He didn't look achy. I was more achy than he was. So, and I still feel like standing up and moving around again. I think I'll do some jumping jacks later, or stretches. So, okay. So you do want to hear my notes. Okay. So anybody who doesn't want to hear the notes can just tune out then. Okay. Because I really took a lot of notes at the beginning when I had energy and I was all excited to be there. Okay. So, okay. I love the graphics. Great graphics from the state. So even if you're just sitting out there, behind the attorneys, you still get to see these two moderate-sized TV screens, one on the left, the other one on the right, where they flash up the transcript scrolling through while the audio is playing. And they also would show photographs of the people talking, plus their names, plus the time and date of the conversation. So that I found really good. It really personalized this experience, because you could see Katie's face flashing up along with Charlie's face, or Katie's face flashing up with Sigfredo's face or Donna's face when they're talking. So great job, whoever put that together for the state. Let's see. So I already talked about some of this stuff earlier today. Okay. So remember Charlie's great quote, extorting people is like up to 10 years in prison. Okay, so he does know about extorting and crimes and stuff. Everything is fine. Okay, so let's see. So all that funny talk between Katie and Sigfredo and Katie and Charlie, where Katie is cursing up a storm and saying the F word like 50 times plus. Let's see. Okay, so there's a phone call where this is where Charlie was saying to Katie, you throw the chum and a bunch of fish come and they run and jump on it. Okay, so that's the same as when during the Dolce Vita conversation where he was talking about how, yeah, it's just like dropping a bunch of, what is it, like smoke bombs and watching the roaches run out. So he's basically referring to the bump as some sort of possible ploy. Well, it sure worked. So then when they were doing their coded phone call talking about real estate, when they were really talking about this whole bump issue, Charlie was saying real estate is a great profession. So that's where I was thinking, well, it's just like what June said. June said that Charlie convinced her to get a realtor's license. So she was happy about that. So I guess Charlie's really into real estate. He even uses it as a code word. Okay, let me drink something. Okay, so I noted multiple times that whenever I looked at the jury, they were very intensely paying attention. So they are definitely being great jurors, very diligent, taking notes, really listening hard, being serious. Let's see. Okay, so Charlie also said in that talk, you buy a property like that, it becomes a headache for life. It'll be like a leech that never leaves you. So he's talking about the possibility of giving a payout to this person pretending to be Luis Rivera's brother. So that's pretty damning for him. So during that call between Donna and Charlie, where they're discussing, oh, Wendy's going out to dinner with a bunch of women and others from the school because it's Ben's teacher's birthday, they're going to Red Ginger. So I was thinking, what adult male calls their parents so much? This is really weird. They just kept playing all these phone calls between Donna and Charlie, not just today, but previous days. And it just shows how weird their relationship is, how close they are. They share every single thing, every little stupid, insignificant bit of their lives. They gotta be like talking, gossiping about Wendy. Okay, let's see. Okay, so apparently the undercover agent sent a letter to the Adelsons, just basically saying my phone isn't ringing, mentioning that nobody's been calling this person pretending to be Lewis's brother. So that, I mean, I think I remember hearing about that somewhere, but that was good to actually see it put on the big screen for the jury to see. So then soon after that letter, you have Katie and Charlie. They're all agitated on a phone call. And Charlie was again speaking in code. He said, I was talking to my parents about my day. So he said it in a very weird tone of voice. So he wasn't just talking to his parents about how his day went, but about, that whole situation with the bump. For once, Charlie sounded really worried. There was a total change in his tone of voice that you didn't hear before. Before, he was always very full of himself and full of, machismo and preaching and just rambling. But this phone call, you can hear the fear in his voice. Then Sigfredo calls Katie. Sigfredo texted something to Katie that said, this is my paraphrasing, that's your business. whatever is going on with your homie, work that shit out. So that's good to know, because that shows that, Sigfredo really could care less about what was going on with this drama, with the bump. Okay. Okay, there's a call between Donna and Charlie around April 26th. This is all around that same time frame after the bump, where Donna says Dad doesn't feel well. He didn't go to bed until 5:30 a.m. I guess he told the people at work that he didn't feel well, so he didn't go to work that day. So I had heard that before. Okay, so here's another interesting quote amongst many quotes. Charlie is going on and on and on, repeating himself to Donna, trying to get her to chill out. And he says, "It's always been, everything is a big deal. You got to get worked up about everything. Everything is a huge deal. I'm just telling you to stop. You didn't do anything wrong." So those are just bits and pieces, but he just kept saying the same thing over and over again, just trying to get Donna to stop from freaking out. So that's interesting that he knows his parents. He knows that they freak out over every little freaking thing. So that made me think, yep, Donna definitely freaked out when Dan filed his motions in spring of 2014. Okay, then we heard that same day, Katie called Charlie. They're both still very agitated, but Katie was laughing and giggling about the problem being flushed. Then Charlie says, "I was going to give you a gift card that can be used at any hotel and a little tree to plant at your house." So I'm pretty sure every time they referred to bonsai trees or trees, they meant marijuana. So I assume that meant he was going to give Katie a gift card plus some marijuana to keep her happy. Oh yeah, so that's also when he was talking about his job for some dentist and saying it's all bullshit. It's just half a day work. Okay, so both of them were constantly using the F-bomb, talking about S-H-I-T. So clearly the jurors were hearing themselves how Charlie is not this upstanding professional dentist that you may think he is from the start. I mean, he's just as foul-mouthed and just really weird like Katie is. That's when they started joking about, am I your favorite Jew? Am I your third favorite Jew? There's Jesus, Drake, and Charlie. Katie then tells him, "You need Jesus." And at this point, I noticed that middle-aged white male juror was kind of smirking like this and shaking his head. So yeah, well, I guess at least there was some slight humor to break up the monotony of the trial. Yeah, I think that was pretty interesting to wake up the jury. Okay, so the agent Sanford confirmed that there evidently was no tension between Charlie and Katie in all these calls. There's no tension. There's no extortion. There's no shakedown for money. And Georgia pointed out that when Charlie says, "Mama needs a vacation with Daddy," he wasn't referring to himself, because he was no longer dating Katie. Katie was living with Sigfredo then. So in other words, that gift card to a hotel was really a gift to Katie and Sigfredo. Okay, so if that makes sense, I think the puzzle pieces are aligning here for the state. Okay, then they played the call from undercover agent, AKA Sammy, to the Adelson Institute. And Donna immediately or soon after that calls Charlie regarding Sammy's phone call. April 28th, Charlie calls Katie. They're both cursing, especially Katie, who is freaking out, saying that she called the number. And she says, "I'm trying to help your family," with F-bombs galore. Okay, So of course we know she was lying. She didn't really call the number from that undercover agent. Charlie says, quote, "If someone's effing with you, they're effing with me. It's one and the same." Okay, so I had heard that quote multiple times before, but again, it shows the two of them were just in total cahoots together. Nobody's extorting anyone. Okay, so Katie's telling Charlie, call that number. She claims that it's not a working number. Ooh, not a working number. I called it 100 times. Yeah, okay, so that was a lie, but ultimately, this call shows that they are still very friendly with each other. They are bonded to each other. Okay, so Charlie calls to undercover. So again, we've all heard this before, at least I've heard this multiple times, where people said that guy didn't sound like a brother of a Latin King member because he started out saying this is in reference to, okay, and then he says do the right thing. So those are all just weird things that you think like law enforcement would say, but not a gang member or gang member's brother. But then finally, when the agent says, "No more effing around," then he finally sounded more convincing. So he sounded convincing at some parts, but some parts were like, okay. And I did meet the undercover agent. It was really cool. I don't know how much I should say because, of course, we have privacy issues here. But he did say that he already knows about my videos and he had seen some of them, I guess. But I had to bring out my phone and play that Donna Adelson parody with the bump recreation with my friend Hector to show him again. And we had a nice laugh over that. So that was so cool because I didn't expect to meet that agent. Really nice guy. It was great to meet him. Okay, so where am I? Okay. So my notes said I really liked the dates with the photos of the people showed right before the transcript is played and the audio starts. The audio was excellent in the courtroom. So even if you were watching a live stream, from the live stream, it looked like there were all sorts of like glitches and that rainbow bunch of color bars showing up and stuff, but that didn't happen because what you guys are watching out there is what the media gets from the official court feed, but the jurors clearly can hear everything. They don't really need their headphones. I could hear it totally fine. Plus the transcript is also shown on big screens, so that's great. Okay, so still April 28th, Sigfredo and Katie calls. So this is where there's some offensive language, and I did look at the jurors. None of them looked like they were affected or grimacing or whatever, but Sigfredo did say that he called the number and the voicemail message sounded like a New Yorker, Nigger. And later he also uses the N-word again. But the jurors all just continued looking, very intent and serious. They're listening. Yeah. And, in terms of keeping your attention, these calls definitely did keep my attention because there's some, breakup and stuff, and you hear these people freaking out and cursing and just, carrying on and stuff. So I found it really captivating. Okay, so then there's a call between Katie and Charlie where Charlie says, "I don't want anyone to go to jail." And he talks about how one time his jet ski got stolen and he didn't even report it to police because the last thing he wanted to do is have some guy who's trying to extort money and go to jail thinking of me. Okay. Okay, so then there's also a text that we saw flashed up where Sigfredo lied to Katie saying that he called that number 3 times. So I'm pretty sure that's a lie. Okay, so it was good to sit next to Katie Kool-Aid for part of the time because she filled me in on some stuff where either I was multitasking or was not actually in there listening. She mentioned that Charlie, in a phone call with Donna, he guessed that perhaps the Markels had hired a private investigator So isn't that strange? If he had nothing to do with Dan Markel's murder, then why would you think that the Markels had hired a private investigator to stir things up? Okay, so then we finally get to the point where Rashbaum was calling the witness later today. Obviously, I was no longer taking notes after lunch because I was in a separate room and chatting with most of you guys on Deep Dive True Crime. Okay, so Charlie looked totally stressed out right before Kristen was supposed to take the stand. Rashbaum was asked like what the order of witnesses was going to be, and strangely, it was a weird moment. But Rashbaum thought for a while, and then he said he didn't want to say until after the first witness. I was like, okay, do you not know what Adelson is going to say or not? You know, you would think that he had already spoken with her or taken her deposition before today. Okay, so Kristen Adelson, she taught. This is where I was getting really bored and sleepy and stuff because I had just wolfed down part of a turkey sandwich. And, you know, it's after lunch. Even the jury members seemed like they were just getting kind of like beaten down. And this lady, you know, I mean, I'm sure she's an awesome attorney. I saw her website. She's like a super lawyer. She's been practicing since she graduated from Florida State Law back in '88. But whatever she was saying on the stand, it was just kind of in this like slow, monotonous, low voice. And it's kind of like, why is this lady here? I mean, is this supposed to help defend Charlie? I mean, she talked about the motion to relocate, which we already know about, which Wendy desperately wanted back in summer 2013. She said it was a tactical decision to file earlier. She said she didn't know about the $1 million offer for the Adelsons to, you know, give Dan $1 million so that he would allow Wendy and the kids to move away. She said something about how Dan Markel didn't pay her attorney's fees, so she filed a motion to enforce that. He also filed a motion that both Wendy and she should be disbarred. Okay. I don't recall if the motion specifically asked for disbarment, but he definitely hinted at that. Yeah. I'd have to go back and look at that. But ultimately it's like, well, what's this got to do with Charlie? Okay, so I wrote boring, doesn't seem to help the defense of Charlie. So she said that Donna and Harvey were both at that relocation hearing back in June 2013. So that was news to me because I knew that Donna was there. I didn't realize that Harvey was there. But that seems fitting because we've definitely heard more information that makes it look like Harvey was in on the murder scheme too. She said that was the only encounter she had with Donna Adelson was at the hearing back in 2013. And then Kate Myers, for some weird reason, she started flashing up on the screen some sort of photo presentation with pictures of Donna, Harvey, Wendy, Katie, and Sigfredo with these little curved arrows going from person to person. And I'm like, what? I mean, why would you flash that on the screen? Because this again shows that the whole family had something to do with Dan's murder. It's weird. I mean, maybe I wasn't paying enough attention, but yeah, I was just bored and wondering like what's the point of having this divorce attorney get up there as Charlie's witness? I mean, maybe she was there to make it seem like nobody took Dan's motion seriously. You know, therefore they wouldn't have had the motive to want to kill him. I don't know. So, okay, so that's when we had that whole, you know, breathtaking, you know, suspenseful moment where the judge gave a very repetitious recitation of questions to Charlie. He had the jury leave Charlie had to stand up. And of course, he is a pretty tall guy. You know, I didn't think he was that tall. So Charlie stands up, and the judge was just asking him a bunch of questions like, are you sure, you know, you understand you have the right not to testify? Have you had time to speak with your attorney? Do you want more time to speak with your attorney about this? You understand that if you testify, you're going to be subjected to cross-examination, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all good, because, you know, you got to get this on the record so that Charlie can't later claim on appeal that, oh, I didn't realize all this stuff would happen if I testified, and now I got convicted, and my attorney didn't counsel me correctly about this, the dangers of testifying, so, or the ramifications of testifying. So what else did I, yeah. So it did seem kind of like overkill, but I understand why the judge had to go on and keep asking Charlie, are you sure? Are you sure? You know, do you understand this? Do you need more time to discuss your decision to testify? Is it really your own decision to testify? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so yeah, so those are my notes here. Let me see here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh, I gotta watch the clock because I'm supposed to meet True Lifestyles later. So, I mean, it's so exciting. It's so awesome to be here and see people and, you know, give hugs to people and, you know, seeing, you know, John Steinbeck is there, you know, of course, mentor lawyer, and we finally got to meet. And when I saw him in the media room, I had just like slathered on tons of more makeup and sprayed my hair blonde and stuff and gotten dressed in this like Hoochie Mama Shorts outfit. So I was like, I do not normally look like this. But he knows. I mean, we've seen each other through live streams and Zoom so many times. So it's really cool to see people in person. I'm sorry, my hair's sticking up now, but I had to wash my hair as soon as I got back to the hotel. Yes, I would like to take voice breaks, but there's always something else to do. Oh, okay. True is live. Oh, okay. I didn't know she was live right now. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I can't believe it's almost over. I know things just really went by so quickly, like especially that day when they had Louis Rivera, Brian Fitzpatrick, June Mchinda, Stephen Webster, you know, they had so many witnesses jammed into that day. I was like, wow, you know, is this going to be over in less than 2 weeks? I thought it was going to be 3 weeks. Yeah. I think as soon as Harvey, not Harvey, see, Harvey, as soon as Charlie is convicted, assuming he is convicted, I wouldn't be surprised if Donna gets arrested within a week or two. You know, sooner the better. I mean, she's had so many years of influencing and just controlling those children, which is exactly what Dan did not want to happen. Okay, yeah, are you trying to send the stalkers our way? Okay, let's see. Let's see. Almost disappointed. Well, yeah, but I can see why they didn't, because there's more evidence against Charlie than there is against Donna. So, yeah, I mean, Georgia and Sarah definitely know what they're doing. Yeah, they don't need me or mentor lawyer or fancy passing them notes or whatever. No, that's not what the judge didn't tell him not to testify, but he wanted to run him through a gamut of questions, which I'm sure are boilerplate questions. Yeah, because I mean, in my county, you know, for example, I'm familiar with cases where people sign a consent order, or say like in domestic violence protective order cases where somebody's like, okay, I'll just agree to the domestic violence protective order as long as there are no findings of fact. So the judge just has to ask them a bunch of questions like, are you sure? Do you understand? Blah, blah, blah. Have you had time to speak with your attorney about this decision? Are you doing this on your own free will? You know, so he wasn't advising him not to testify, but rather just making sure that that was really his own voluntary decision. Let's see. Yeah, I just answered that probably within a week or two after Charlie's conviction. So let's hope she's got her bags packed up, got the power of attorneys. I'm sure that's already done. They already got their trust set up, check, you know. Wendy has time to handle all the affairs. Check. Yeah. Oh, okay. No, it still feels crappy. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I made this skit thinking that the defense theory was that Sigfredo and Lewis, or Sigfredo, thought up of killing Dan Markel on their own because Sigfredo heard from Katie that this family's so rich that they're offering $1 million to Wendy's ex so that he'll let Wendy move away with the kids. Look how rich they are. So then Sigfredo got dollar signs in his head and cooked up a scheme to kill Dan, and then told Katie after the job was done. So then Katie ran to Charlie saying, hey, you won't believe what these guys did. And I don't know, but from what Mentor Lawyer was saying, and I'm sure he will gladly explain what he thinks the theory was that Katie cooked it up along with Sigfredo to kill Dan. And then Katie was trying to extort money from Charlie. I don't know. I mean, I don't even feel like wasting my voice going through that silliness, but I sure hope nobody on the jury is going to buy that. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Sunny. Okay, I just saw that Sunny gave a donation, so I really appreciate that, because I did have to spend more than $20 buying the sunglasses as part of the skit at the airport. Thank you. I mean, it could, but on the other hand, she was just talking directly to Charlie at the time, so it makes sense that she would just say the two of us, and she just really wanted Charlie to stop talking, hang up the phone, and meet with her, talk later in person. Yeah. Feels like we're watching Netflix on binge mode. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is pretty exciting. Yeah, because when James, Mentor Lawyer, and I were getting ready to do our skit, I was kind of like laughing and talking to him, and then suddenly James said hi to someone, and I realized it was Dan Markel's father further down the hallway. So I felt kind of bad. It was like, oh no, I hope he didn't hear me kind of laughing and felt bad or something. So yeah, I mean, we got to be reminded that as riveting and interesting as this is, it is real life for Dan's family. So yeah. So I don't know. I mean, should I air the sort of comedic skit thing that we did? Should I air it soon, or should I wait after the trial is over? I don't know when's a appropriate time to do it, but let's see. Yeah, today laugh. So yeah, it's hard to tell for me because when I'm sitting there, I can't see. So it's only if I happen to be also watching live or watching outside the courtroom. Yeah, but I definitely have seen, Charlie making faces and kind of half smiling. And then, you had June and Erica, waving or acknowledging him when they left. It's just like, come on, we're here for a murder trial. So. Okay, yeah, so I think I covered that I'm really anticipating what, excited to hear, what's your side of the story? Does it seem to make any sense whatsoever? And the cross-examination is gonna be awesome. Yeah, I bet Kappelman and Dugan are working hard right now, tweaking their cross-examination. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you, Esther. Really appreciate it. Wasn't the last filing from Dan regarding non-disclosure of assets, not a dispute of marital asset? Well, yeah, it was non-disclosure. I mean, don't crucify me if I'm wrong, just speaking off the top of my head. Yeah, he was saying that Wendy had failed to disclose an account in her financial affidavit, whatever they call it here in Florida, where you're supposed to list all of your assets. But it was more than that, because it also included the fact that he was claiming she had lied, because at her deposition, she said she would be willing to give back that special heirloom ring if her what was the condition? Was the condition that his great uncle would have to ask her for it, and then she would, or write a letter to her or something? It was some sort of kind of mean-spirited condition where the great uncle would have to ask Wendy for the ring back, and then she would give it to him. That's what she supposedly said at the deposition. And I haven't read that transcript because I don't think I have that transcript from the family court case, but Mentor Lawyer has reenacted that on his channel a while back. So ultimately, from what I heard, Wendy never gave that ring back anyway, and Dan's great uncle died just maybe 2 to 4 months after Dan was murdered. So really sad. Yeah. Some lonely older man, not trying to be mean, really like her and think she's beautiful. Yeah. So isn't that good? I don't see any like very much older men being on a jury. So I'm sure those women were not impressed by Wendy either. Probability of conviction for Charlie Adelson at this point, I would say like 99% at this point. Yeah, we'll see if Charlie can persuade me. You know, I guess I should go in there with an open mind, like, okay, maybe let me hear what he has to say. You know, he's a poor victim of extortion somehow, despite all these phone calls and stuff. What evidence does he have? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. She did say that she needed to leave by 5 or 5:15 on Wednesdays. Yeah. Hi, Dr. Seth. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Single piece of evidence is wrong. Well, all the puzzle pieces come together to convict, right? Yeah, most people have said Dolce Vita. Yeah, because he was just talking on and on and on, mile a minute, full of bravado. He doesn't sound like he's scared or being extorted, and he's just, you know, saying all sorts of stuff that really any truly innocent person would not be saying if some random stranger had come up to his mom talking about the murder or hinting at the murder of a former family member. Yeah, so probably the Dolce Vita recording. But there's so much more. Okay, thank you for your opinion about Wendy. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I got my tea, but I'm almost done drinking it, so I gotta turn this off soon and get ready for dinner. Because unfortunately, Dan was killed, so we didn't get to see that in the divorce record or family court case record. Yeah. Yeah, so I still feel like, wasn't that the main issue? I think was one account. Yeah, I think. I mean, it's been quite a while since I read that last year. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that would be funny. Oh, okay. You left the shirt. Okay, thank you. Thanks. I got it at a consignment sale. It was probably like $4. But it's a really nice brand though. So oh, okay. Thank you. 3 alternates. Yep. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know who Gum Guy is. Yeah, because when you're sitting there in court and things are going on, nobody's supposed to be talking to each other. So even though I'm sitting right next to Katie or I was sitting behind her at some time, you know, yeah, you can't even like whisper to people. That'll get you kicked out of the courtroom. So I don't know who Gum Guy is. I didn't notice anybody chomping on gum today. Okay, so shorter than Tom. I don't know, but like I said, you know, I'm a very short person too, so let's not put down people for things they can't control. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, hopefully. No, I was trying to, you know, because in some of those old pictures, Katie had blonde streaks in her hair. So in the skit, I was dressed up as Katie. So that's why I had fake blonde temporary hair dye. Yeah, so that's why it's for the sake of YouTube, so I can entertain you guys. Yeah. Noticeable. Well, so it was just that one guy, that middle-aged Caucasian man with a dark, oh, I shouldn't say more. Okay, so there was a middle-aged Caucasian person who was the one kind of like smirking and smiling and shaking his head during that whole talk about, yeah, you need to find Jesus, and am I still your third favorite Jew, and all that stuff. So I did notice, there were sometimes like he does seem more animated, but that's a good thing because he's like really paying attention to the point where like he's kind of maybe entertained at times, or really, really, fixated on this case. So that's the juror that really stands out to me. Like all the other people who were closer to me, I could get a good view of them, but every time I looked at them, they all just, had that same intense and serious look. Nobody else really stood out to me. So I'm not sure which juror mentor lawyer was referencing. Remember, he said that there was one female juror who seemed a little bit concerning to him because, now I don't want to put words into his mouth. Maybe somebody else said this, that there was a juror that seemed like she wanted too badly to be on the jury, or might have smiled back at Wendy or something. So yeah, but I wasn't there when those things happened. Yeah. Okay, so I explained that it's for a skit that mentor lawyer and I just recorded during lunchtime. Yeah. Hi, thank you for being here. Okay, guess who came out? Okay. Let's see, let me scroll all the way down and gotta get going. So, but thank you guys for being here. And oh, definitely, yeah, I would like to think that that Dan's family does realize that so many people are really rooting for them and caring about them. And I will definitely tell Ruth again the next time I see her. Yeah, and I did very, very briefly cross paths with Dan's sister when I was running towards the bathroom, but yeah, she doesn't know me, and I'm sure she was in a rush to get back to the courtroom too after the lunch break, so I wasn't gonna interrupt her. Plus, she was with like some other person, I guess a friend or something. So it's like I don't want to. What do you call it? I don't want to just like butt in, especially during such a stressful time. So that's why it's good that we have all these other YouTuber people here so we can just, pal around together. Yeah. Yeah, we don't know. Didn't she say Charlie gave it to her? Yeah, Charlie gave it to her. And I think the assumption is that the parents brought the money over to Charlie's house. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you so much. Got some paperwork. Yeah. Hope Donna gets more than some paperwork next time. Yeah. Why is she not testing? Well, I mean, that's her choice, because originally she and Harvey were listed as witnesses on Charlie's witness list that they had to turn in over a month ago. But then there's that whole brouhaha about the state wanting to do an investigative interview, and they were fighting it tooth and nail. And ultimately, the judge ordered it, but then it got canceled at the mutual agreement of both sides. So, yeah, I would say that she doesn't have anything good to say to help defend her precious little son. So that's why she's not here. Yeah, she's probably too afraid of all the media attention, and she doesn't want to be in our presence, and she knows she did something wrong. Just my opinion. Yeah. Okay. Was the moldy money washed and bagged in June, and Donna kept it until the actual shooting? Well, I mean, it could have been, but it's all just conjecture, because even when I rewatched Katie's words on the stand about this, she was just guessing. She didn't actually say definitively that Charlie's mom washed wash the bills. I mean, she didn't see it. She was just guessing, And there was a YouTube commenter. Now I can't remember what his screen name is, but he said something about how, hey, there was one time I kept money in my fire safe and it wound up, what was it, like getting kind of humid in there or moldy, or there was moisture in it. So who knows? I mean, unfortunately, that's not going to be good enough evidence against Donna. Yeah, you want to see Wendy throw up at a restaurant. Okay. Oh, that sounds disgusting. Yeah. Yes, he is going to testify tomorrow unless he suddenly has a change of heart tonight. Katie did say Charlie knew he was hiring a hitman. That to me is the most damning. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's just like so much damning evidence in this. Verrett's account shows he received a good amount of money July, August. So he received, yeah, that's right. That's right. And then suddenly he was no longer overdrafting his account repeatedly, and it seemed like he had another source of money to spend for a few months. Oh, okay. That was yesterday. Yeah, I wasn't actually there. Yeah, but I think it was a bailiff who raised his voice at a row of people, and because people were maybe nodding their heads or doing something where they shouldn't be sending signals towards the jury. Yeah, because they were on the side that's closest to the jury. I believe Donna, not, yeah, clever how the judge, yeah, well, I mean, it made sense because otherwise we'd only have less than 1 hour of time for Charlie before court would have to end. Yeah, Katie said it was moldy. Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't be backed by the defense, but it could be the prosecution, maybe for rebuttal. That I have no idea. Yeah. Uh, yeah, what could he say? That this whole time he was really afraid. Oh, he was so afraid. So he was just like pretending with Katie to still be her friend because he was so afraid that somebody would kill him if he stopped giving Katie money. Yeah. Yeah, I've never had cash get moldy either. Yeah, I've lived in different climates. I've never had cash. Yeah, even, I've been to Taiwan before where it is really, really humid, but the money never became moldy, you know. Okay. Okay, just scrolling down. I'm sorry. Yeah, I better get going then. Yeah. Money was dropped off at Charlie's house by Donna. I think they had the money buried in a backyard. Yeah, I mean, I hope the IRS is investigating them in general. I mean, it seems like there was a lot of screwy stuff going on, a lot of cash transactions. Yeah. No, you can't do that because you'll get yourself kicked out of the courtroom. Yeah, I'm sure the defense attorneys would recognize it as the Donna bump shirt and say, like, hey, get out of here. You can't be trying to influence the jury or making fun of us like that. Yeah. You think it was washed? Yeah. Can't keep cash long enough for you to get money. Okay, great. Okay, well, I think that's enough from now. So I'm gonna try my best to try to edit that that kind of funny skit stuff that I recorded today, and we'll see if I have time to upload it tonight or sometime tomorrow. So it's not well done because we were in such a big rush to get something completed before the lunch break was over. And the last part, he had me improvise, and I did not improvise very well because I didn't understand his theory of the case. So, okay, so let's all stay glued to our YouTube. I'll probably be back on Deep Dive True Crime tomorrow, just chatting with people, even if I'm in the courtroom, just multitasking. Plus, I like to see the different views where you can actually see Charlie's face and his expressions and stuff. So have a good evening then. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting this channel. Take care.